Hi, this is John Paulus. Thanks for joining me on Life's Potluck Buffet. And on today's episode, it's card 27. Compose a short inscription for yourself. Card 27 is a card, one of the cards that has an Easter egg on it. And if you notice that at the end of the top magenta noodles, the wavy magenta noodles on top, at the very end, there's a letter. And it's the letter, well, it looks like the letter E in the Latin alphabet, but it's actually a Greek letter, the Greek letter epsilon, which can look exactly the same as the Latin letter E. And there's a reason for that Easter egg, and that's because that's part of the topic of the card. That single letter E was an inscription many, 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 many centuries ago. Millennia, even. So let me read you the card. Know yourself was one of the inscriptions on the sanctuary of the Greek god Apollo in ancient Delphi. Beautiful place in the mountains. There were others too, like nothing too much, and a mysterious one, a single Greek letter epsilon. Now, instead of meditating on ancient inscriptions, create one for yourself and explain what it means. This is one of the cards that's really good for a group writing exercise or a personal individual writing exercise. It takes some thought. It's a lot of fun to do this exercise as something that pops to the top of your head, like Happy Burger, and thinking about what that inscription means. For me, it means that lunchtime is soon. I have a feeling that's what it is. But as a group writing exercise, this is a really nice one. And so what you can do is you could start by saying something that came to the top of your head. Like what came to the top of my head was Happy Burger, and I write that down. And then take one word from that thing that came to the top of your head, or either happy or burger. I think happy would be good. Choose one that is going to make for an inscription that's a little bit understandable and communicates something to others. So let's say happy. Although if you chose burger, that would be fine too, as long as you could make it something interesting. That's all we're doing here. You know, that mysterious letter E on that inscription in Delphi, where it was just one letter, which ancient commentators, and one commentator in particular who was an actual priest at Delphi, spoke at length about what this meant in a philosophical way. It's quite interesting to read. So, you know, either happy or burger, either one works really well. Now, I'm going to choose happy because that feels good. And then what I'm going to come up with is a way to say what I meant about happiness in that inscription. So that's the next step. So step 3 in my process here is to interpret that in a manner that's appropriate for an aphorism like know yourself. So I will say happiness is, and going on that whole burger theme and the idea that lunchtime was near, happiness is anticipation. All right, and then step 4, if I come up with a further development of that idea, I'll say, well, happiness is anticipation of what? And let me say that happiness is anticipation of satisfaction. So that's my short inscription. Happiness is the anticipation of satisfaction. I think that's short enough. So give it a try. Let's start with something that you're thinking about, just whatever comes to mind. Now, write that down, and then choose between, well, first I should say, if you've come up with something that is completely already explainable, that you could already say, okay, I see how this might be helpful for others to hear about. And that it's not just a personal thing, right? Happy Burger was just a personal thing for me because it was just about me thinking about lunch happening soon, and burger sounds pretty good. There you go, Happy Burger, right? That's just for me. Happiness as a burger does not exactly, might not be helpful for everyone involved. There are people who don't like burgers. There are people for whom burgers as they are standardly presented are a problem because of dietary choices, because of religious choices. So trying to convert your saying into something that can have a broad meaning for a lot of people and be encouraging to a lot of people and also tell a truth to a lot of people rather than a simple personal preference of yours or mine, that starts to develop. That is what we're going after here. And this is what the exercise is really about. The exercise really is about making your personal experiences and truths clear, understandable, communicatable, and applicable to others. So, step 2, after you've come up with what is important to you at this moment, step 2 is to take that and to pick an element of it that is going to be the more generic elements. That's why I chose happy, because as I said, burgers don't suit everybody for reasons that we know. So we're going to go with happy. And when you think about this, you realize it's why some things that people say just come off across to us as like, well, that's just your personal preference. That doesn't really mean anything to me. It's because there was an element of it that is not broadly applicable to our lives, our shared lives. But let's take for granted that happiness is something that's broadly applicable to our shared lives, or at least much more broadly applicable than a burger, despite what restaurant chains may tell you. Okay, so happiness. Then figure out the relationship between that word that you chose, in my case, happiness, and the second word that was your personal preference, and think about what your personal preference means. And for me, it meant flavorful, delicious satisfaction. I was hungry. I am hungry. Now I'm not hungry. So that's where I got the idea of satisfaction. And then for the next step, adding a third element. So because I had, happiness is the anticipation of satisfaction. That is what I came up with. My third element talks about the relationship of the statement that I made to time. I wasn't thinking happy burger because I'm eating a burger right now. There's no burger anywhere near me, I assure you, unfortunately. For me, happiness and burger had an anticipatory relationship because I was looking forward to that burger. And I was looking forward to that satisfaction. And so the formulation became happiness is the anticipation of satisfaction. And there I had my inscription. And once you have your inscription, make it your inscription for the day. You can make it your inscription for as long as you'd like. Or you can collect your inscriptions. You can do this exercise any day you'd like to create a whole list of inscriptions. And once you have that whole list of inscriptions, then what you have is a personal philosophy. So when you think about it, you just took the first step to becoming a philosopher. If you enjoyed this card, please subscribe. And if you would like to anticipate the happiness of receiving a pack of Life's Potluck Buffet in the mail, please go to lifespotluck.com. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. I gotta get that burger.